What is up, everybody? This is Miguel Antonio Barragan, aka Fight Fiend Migs, joined as always by my co-host Andrew. Don't get it twisted, Lapache, and this is the Mad Boxing Show, or Mad Boxing for short. Thank you for joining us on this lovely slash warm Wednesday evening slash afternoon here in Las Vegas. It is still winter technically, but man, it's still kind of toasty out there. Sometimes you don't need uh a hoodie really. I mean a zip up. That's all you need really, frankly, over here. We don't need anything besides that. But then once night hits that, then you got to bundle up. But it's been warm. It's been warm this whole freaking time, and I can't complain. I can't complain. I love this weather. I would much rather be colder because I do like cold, but I can't live in cold for too long. Regardless, it is a lovely Wednesday evening, and we got plenty to talk about because we are at the 11th hour. We are getting very, very close to Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. That is going to be one of the topics that we're going to be talking about today. They had their final press conference. Tomorrow's the weigh-in. We're almost there. So that's going to be one of the topics, of course, one of the hot topics. One of the other hot topics that we want to talk about, John Cena retiring. No, I'm just kidding. Somebody else retiring. One Terence Crawford calling it a career. Everybody and their mamas has got an opinion on it. Everybody has something to say about it, and rightfully so. You know, when you're a public figure, you're going to basically be out in the open and open to all sorts of criticism, of course. But that is one of the things we're going to be talking about, because what does that mean for the sport? What does that mean for Canelo? What does that mean for anybody else, for that matter? We're going to talk about that. Um, Speaking of which, Canelo might not be fighting come Cinco de Mayo weekend. That might be open for somebody else. I don't know. Maybe Zurdo Benavides, perhaps. But it looks like we're not going to get a Canelo Cinco de Mayo weekend fight, as he's going to be out on the DL, on the disabled list for a little bit. And he wants to go directly to a rematch with Crawford in September. Whether or not that happens, we're going to be discussing it. And just as a kind of like somewhat weird filler slash thing, Floyd Schofield and his pups demanding quite the price tag for an Abdullah Mason fight that I thought was comical. But we're gonna be talking about that, of course. That's gonna be one of the final stories, because that's not the important ones, right? The important ones are the ones we're talking about here, and we're gonna get crack-a-lacking on all of those. But before we do, gotta check in with my homie Andrew. What's going on, dude? How was your evening, your Wednesday evening going, I should say?
Hey, what's up, bro? Wednesday evening, we're doing good. Got home from work. I can see the sky today.
Oh,
That's a first.
okay.
Yeah. So hopefully the fog is gone, but today we see blue skies. Kind of cloudy, but at least the skies are back. But yeah, nothing but work, man. Nothing but work, and we are. I mean, you know what? What's bigger news? The retirement of Terence Crawford or Jake Paul versus Joshua 2 days away? I got to tell you, I don't believe the Crawford one, and I'll tell you, I just don't, and I think that's why I'm more excited about the fight.
About AJ and Jake Paul.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
oh yeah.
yeah, you're not the only one that has that opinion, by the way. But I say let's go ahead and get into that one, because I know that's the hot topic on everyone's tongue. Everybody talking about Terence Crawford calling it a career, and deciding to step away. If you guys follow Terence Crawford on any of his social media pages, I believe it was Twitter or X, and even YouTube, where he goes on to say, walking away was as a great with nothing else to prove. Hashtag Crawford era. Then he puts a whole bunch of them: three-time undisputed, one number one pound for pound, et cetera, et cetera. And so right off the bat, it's like, what? This is it. This is now. He said a couple of things since then, and we're going to be talking about that here momentarily. But um, first off, when I read this, I'm thinking, you know what I'm thinking? He's going to do. He's gonna pull the what is it? Borrow a page out of the Floyd Mayweather book and retire for a year. Not give Canelo the rematch. Not that we necessarily need it per se, but I get the Canelo rematch, and then boom, he'll come back in a year from now, and then maybe cash in with I don't know, as Andrew, as you often say, maybe sell the O. Maybe he goes against whoever wins between, I don't know, let me see here, Virgil Ortiz and Boots Ennis or something like that, right? That was my impression. I'm thinking, because very few people actually retire, right? Like, I mean, officially stay retired when they're on top, at least. Lennox Lewis comes to mind, right? He when he said, that's it, I'm done. More often than not, I mean, hell, how many comeback matches has Ric Flair had, for Christ's sakes? But I was like, I'm not sure. I'm on the fence. I'm thinking, I don't know. Is this a ploy? Kind of da da da. But I was watching. We'll get to it momentarily. I was watching the final press conference for Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua, and even Jake Paul himself was like, "Yeah, I don't think he wasn't buying it." So that being said, Andrew, what was your first impression before you started, like, trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together? When you first read that he was calling in a career, what was your first impression of that?
I shared it immediately because it's big news, right? It's Terence
Mm-hmm.
Crawford walking away. But that feeling didn't stay long. It just, Miguel, he went from chasing to being the face to all of a sudden you don't want it anymore. Like, he literally was the most Googled athlete this year. Maybe it was too much for him. Maybe he doesn't like the limelight. I'll tell you, he hasn't made good decisions while being in the limelight.
You referring to dropping the belt or the WBC belt?
Dropping the belt, dropping his wife, his baby mama. I know everyone likes to go, he wasn't married. Dropping his baby mama right after you get paid. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So he hasn't made the greatest decisions since being somewhat rich.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, seriously, 2 fights ago, he was making $2.5 million. You know what I mean? He was like average 2 fights ago. You get one big payday and all of a sudden we're done. I don't believe it. Look, we all talked about Canelo not fighting in May. There could be a issue where they just don't have enough money for Terence, and they're kind of nervous on putting Terence as the front loader, the ticket seller. Give him another 50 million, and then, let's say the people show up, but they're not paying the price, the value price at the tickets. You know what I mean?
Were you saying Riyadh season Turkey, those people?
Oh, I think that fight definitely would have to be in the States. I don't see anyone going to Riyadh for Terence. Just for Terence, like Terence.
Well, I mean, when you say like they don't have the money for him right now, you're talking about they're the ones that don't have the
Oh
money.
yeah, Riyadh, most definitely. Yeah, that's who he's working with. So yeah, no, thank you for that. It's definitely Turkey that don't want to drop another 50, and I think Terence is in a mind frame right now that he probably thinks he deserves 50 on whoever he fights, right? Like Floyd, right? Andre Berto, he still made 100 million. Robert Guerrero still made 100 million. It didn't matter who they put in front of him. Maybe that's where Terence thinks he is. They didn't either call him or, didn't respond back to his call. And then he decided to say, fuck it, I'm retiring. I just don't see how you retire when you become the $50 million fighter.
When I first saw this, the first thing that came to mind was, I mean, I don't even know if it's true again because it's just all what we read online. But him asking for 100 mil for the rematch with Canelo, right? The first thing that came to mind was, they said no, and he's like, fuck it, I'll take my ball and go home. Then if I'm not getting 100 milli for the rematch, I'm out of here. That's what I thought. But after some contemplation, of course, and I start kind of like thinking twice about it. One of the many, because there are many that are harshly criticizing Terence Crawford is Oscar De La Hoya, who, of course, the first thing he goes to is his social media to let us know his feelings on the matter. These are a couple of tweets of his. He says, "What a tool. I can name 4, 5, 6 fighters that compete and probably can't even beat him, please." And then he goes on to say, two good fighters he beat. Congratulations. And then, of course, he put one of those like laugh emojis. I mean, he beat more than two. He beat 2 damn good fighters. One great fighter in Canelo and a damn good fighter in Spence. Maybe it wasn't the same Spence as before, but he still was ranked number 1 and he still had the belts, yada, yada. So that had to count for something. So we're going to give him credit for that, of course. Madrimov, he sure isn't one of the greatest by any stretch, but yeah, 2 fighters that he beat. You can look at his 140-pound, I guess, unification, right? Undisputed, winning collecting all the belts there, beating all the champions, and taking a look at those opponents, and then what he did in welterweight. He beat more than a bunch than 2 good fighters away. And again, this is probably just Oscar De La Hoya and sour grapes saying, yeah, he'd be two good fighters, right? So
No,
do you agree with what Oscar was saying here?
I'm gonna say he used the wrong word. He should have used he's beaten nothing but good fighters and only two great fighters. And one of those guys is really on thin ice as far as being great or not, and that's Errol Spence.
Mhm.
History is always going to remember that Earl was not the same. Earl, right? Yeah, Earl Spence.
It's
Errol,
Errol, like
Errol,
yeah, it's like
Errol.
ERROL.
Doesn't really matter. Never did.
We just call him Spence. That's easier.
Crash dummy. Could use that one too.
All right.
I'm just playing. What a dick. That's a dick move. He never even did anything to me. No. Anyways, Spence is always going to get remembered, bro, as freaking not the same guy, right?
Mhm.
He might have even been blind that night, for all we know.
Yeah, one-eyed, right, the whole time.
Yes. Yes. So, I mean, Terence, that's what Oscar's talking about, right? When they dissect your career, because that's what we do. You want to talk to historians, you want to talk to fans, they both dissect careers when it's all said and done. So that leaves you with one Canelo Alvarez, and it was a great jump. He jumps up 2 divisions, takes down the super middleweight guy. I know they can bring up age, but Terence was older. It's a great win. That one great win. I think Oscar's correct in saying there was a few guys that can probably beat him. Look, and I don't know who they are. I'm saying there's someone out there that can say that argument when your opposition has only one great fighter. Come on, Joe Calzaghe. You know what I mean? Like, look how great he was. And then when it was all said and done, you don't even hear that dude's name anymore. So Terence, he never did a run like Pacquiao. He never did a run like De La Hoya. I don't know
Can we
why.
even say he had a run? I mean, yes, at welterweight, with that one belt. Huh?
Thank you for that. This is what I would say.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the guys that ran from him. That's his career.
Mm-hmm.
Manny Pacquiao, Mikey Garcia undefeated. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, most of the PBC staple of until recently. Yeah,
most PBC, stable. So I think if you want to be a diehard Terence Crawford fan, you could bring up those arguments all day, but that's going to get old real fast, right? It's what you did. It's not who ran from you. So Oscar is somewhat telling the truth. Now, another reason why I think he's lying his ass off is because he's making a lot of money, and the dude has 7 kids now?
Oh, shit. Well, how old are they? Are they at the age where they're old enough to not need his money per se, or no?
Oh no.
I know he's got some little ones, but not all of them. No, I thought
they're all little. They're all from teen. Maybe I don't think he has any teenagers yet, if I'm not mistaken.
Damn, really?
You can look it up, but they're all under 18. They're all under 17. And it doesn't really matter. Miguel, they never go away. You guys never go away.
Ungrateful little motherfuckers. Now.
If I can make $1 million, I'm going to make $1 million.
Yeah.
If you have too much money, start opening up trust funds for your kids then. But go get that money.
Holy shit. Okay, here we go. His first daughter, Mia, turned 14 in 2022. His first son, Terence Jr., turned 11 in 2022, making them roughly 17 and 13 now. Those are the ones that popped up here. Said their first one, so I'm not sure how many more he's got.
5 more. There's either 4
they're all younger than that.
There's either 4 more with her and 1 with the mistress, or 5 more with her and 1 with the mistress. But he's got a lot of kids.
Yep. Is he another Evander Holyfield? He's going to be fighting into his fucking 50s?
The great thing that he did was he had them all with one lady, right? Mm-hmm. Most of them where Evander had to pay so many women. He was paying women, and I think he was marrying them too. Evander just had issues back in the day. But either way, yeah, it's good to have him with one girl. But the point of the story is, why would you walk away when you're at least making the 10 million? Right? This is what I don't understand about some of these guys. Granted, boxing is a hard sport. I get that part of it. I don't know his health. I don't know. Maybe Terence looks like he likes to work out, but if you really know the guy, He fucking hates it at this age in his life, right? Has been forcing himself the last few years to do it. It doesn't seem that way on his build-up shows. Seems like he's in good shape, good health, good sparring.
He takes care of himself, the way it seems, at least.
Yes, never gains weight. I don't think I've ever seen Terence Crawford overweight. He is not Timothy Bradley at no means.
We'll talk about Timmy later on because he's got some words about AJ and Jake Paul. But anyway, yes.
So I don't understand why he's retiring. That's why I don't believe it. Look, it's either they couldn't come to an agreement and he had to walk away instead of maybe getting embarrassed turning down a fight. But I'm sure he's seen with all the other guys in the past, when you come back, you're still going to be worth something anyway, especially if you're undefeated. It's just I don't like the move. I don't like the move. I wish he would have went down to middleweight and maybe started a run there to take up the 4 belts to end the career. But it's his career at the end of the day, right? It's his life.
Is it just a matter of him not wanting to downgrade, quote unquote? It's like once he's stuck on that highest setting. It's like, if I made 50, why the hell would I fight anybody else for 10 or 15? It's like, well, there's only so many $50 million fights out there, bro, or 100 million or whatever the hell it is. Is he at that point where maybe that's what he's thinking? Well, if I fought that much over here, why the shit would I fight for less over here? Well, there aren't any more of those. I mean, there's only so many of those fighters you can go around.
Remember a few weeks ago when I said he would have been best to talk to Bernard Hopkins instead of Floyd Mayweather?
Yeah.
I think Bernard would have helped him out in this decision here too, because there's a lot of money to be made, right? You can just, you're not Floyd. Who cares? You're still cashing $1 million checks, and you're gonna easily beat some of these guys. Some. And one of his hardest opponents just got busted on drugs at middleweight.
Yeah.
He just took a dirty test. He might not even be there. So he's shooting too high. He probably should have took a piece of humble pie out of Bernard's page and just went on with his career at his 40s. Like I said, that's with me believing that he's healthy and everything's fine.
Yeah, that's a good point. It sucks that it ends like, I mean, if it does end like this, because, you know, whenever, I mean, we can talk about his run at welterweight, we can talk about his run at junior welterweight, but when he quote unquote makes it, when he, you know, beats Spence, that is when the run really starts. Like, that's where the big fucking money fights come in. And unfortunately, there's only so many of those big money fights around. He got the biggest one in Canelo. I mean, it's like, you reach the top, the peak. That's it. There's no more to climb, right? I mean, I guess money wise, I should say, because there are still other belts he can collect. There's still another weight class that he can get belts at to add to the legacy per se. But money wise, other than a rematch with Canelo, now let me just double check here. He's 30. He'll be 38, I believe. Terence Crawford here later. Let me see here. Age. Yeah, he's 38. All right, so 38. Let's say he doesn't fight in May and he wants to wait for a Canelo rematch. We're talking almost an entire year from now, be 39. Could that be one of the things, like, shit, if I'm not going to get this fight in Cinco de Mayo weekend, I'm not going to wait another year until I'm fucking 39 for another mega payday with Canelo. I'm out of here.
Yeah. I mean, look, that's all we can say is that there wasn't a major payday in front of him, and he decided to walk instead of taking a smaller pay. What I want to know is, what's the smaller pay though, Miguel? What if his smaller check is still 10 million, bro? Like I said, if you have enough money, open a trust fund, invest the shit. But why would you not make it?
Yeah, especially if the competition isn't right now. The middleweight division. Yeah, the middleweight division is essentially a fucking, you know, like sitting ducks. You can go in there and just mop the floor with the majority of the guys there and add more legacy, add more belts, and even, you know, cash in on, I wouldn't call them easy fights. As we said earlier, boxing is not an easy sport, but definitely not the elite level that he just experienced with somebody like Canelo. So why not do it? It's I don't know. It just seems like it's a no-brainer to keep going now that you're at that top, at that peak. You're the cash cow. Now here's where the run starts. Now, normally when these happen with guys, with these runs happen with guys like De La Hoya or Floyd or Manny, um, they're a lot younger, I'm assuming, right? Because he kind of got to the point where he made it to the top of the mountain at a later age. I mean, the big welterweight fight with him and Spence, they guys were already in their fucking 30s, which is not something that is the norm. So maybe he just doesn't have that much time left, I guess, as far as how his body is being held together. You know, sometimes your body, when you get to a certain age, and we talked about it, right? He does take care of himself. At least that's what it looks like. But is it that? Is it maybe like he's like, man, I can't do the runs that all the other guys did because I'm already at this advanced age and I can only have 4 fights in me tops. He can't do that long run, the 8 pay-per-views or whatever the hell it was. That no, not 8. How many pay-per-views did Manny have like straight that were like fucking awesome?
Well, I think it was like 14, bro.
Oh, there you go.
It
That's
was
what I'm saying.
it was way more than 8.
So obviously we're not gonna get that out of
No.
Crawford, right?
No, but definitely I thought he was going to keep the ball rolling a little longer than this. This is a very fast rise and fall for a superstar. You know, because seriously, in boxing, here's a good one. Now, what he did to the belts is really going to hurt him. Bro, do you really think TKO, Sella, Turkey, or any of these guys are going to remember Terence Crawford, what he did for Rehad 5-10 years from now? But you know who always calls you when you're an old timer and freaking brings you out to the fights? Those sanctioning bodies, the other promoters, right? The WWBC events, the WBA events. They wine, they dine, they ask you to take photos, maybe give you a little bit of money for signing autographs if you're famous enough. And I think Terence might be famous enough to do something like that. But I bet you they're not going to be calling. He's going to get forgotten.
At least not the WBC, is it?
Well, yeah, and I want to say all of them. He won all titles that night, right?
Yeah.
I don't believe he paid a sanctioning fee for any of them. And we heard Floyd say that you have to pay them all. Or who was it that said Lopez?
Oh, well, I know. I mean, I figured he had to pay them all if you're going to hold the belts, but I thought he did come to some sort of arrangement with some of the other people, some of the other belt holders.
I haven't heard anything.
I don't know.
I haven't heard anything about it. Either way, it was a bad time to take a stand to burn your bridge with the belts if you were literally about to retire, because they're the ones that keep your legacy going. Now, maybe you don't care about that. Maybe you want to go off to Nebraska and never fucking look at boxing again. Once again, I don't know Terence like that. There's a lot of things that play into this that we don't know about. One is his health, and the other is he really even have a drive to create a legacy? Maybe 50 million was all he ever wanted. One big check and I'm done.
Man, that's it though. I mean, because I heard he got like something big with Spence. I forgot what the number was, but he got a nice chunk of change there. This is easily double that, if not more. This fight here with Canelo. I don't know. It just seems so. All right. So you're skeptical of it, right? You're skeptical. You're thinking he's not really retiring. He's going to come back at some point. What would be ideal for him to come back? Like just wait the year? I mean, I don't know if he's going to want to do that, but what would be ideal for him to come back to and get some sort of mega money fight?
Miguel, it's all about why he stepped away. Because if it's Terence Crawford's ego, then how are we going to even answer this? What if he doesn't want to fight unless he's making $25 million? Well, the only time they're going to be able to give him that is what? If Canelo comes back, or that young man down there in Rehad named Shiraz, whatever the fuck his name is. That guy.
I like the fact that you said it with like a southern drawl. Like, oh, that motherfucker out there, that Shiraz guy. You know, that Shiraz motherfucker guy down there. Yeah.
That guy. Maybe he becomes big enough. Turkey says, you want to come back? I'll give you 25 million to fight him. I don't think it's ever going to be over 50, especially now that you burned your bridge with Turkey. Turkey probably wants you to keep fighting.
Yeah, well, yeah. Remember, because like there was that one clip prior to the Canelo fight where Crawford was like on some sort of stairmaster or elliptical, and what's his name? Turkey was next when he's like, no retirement, right? No retirement, right? Like he's like, yeah, right. We have a deal, motherfucker. You win this one, and we keep the ball rolling. We keep riding the fucking gravy train. We don't just call it quits. Let me read this quick little thing that I saw online here. This was through him on X and YouTube. He says, "I'm stepping away from competition, not because I'm done fighting, but because I've won a different kind of battle. The one where you walk away on your own terms. This isn't a goodbye. It's just the end of one fight and the beginning of another." Hmm. What the hell cryptic shit is that supposed to be, right? It's like, no, it's, yeah, the beginning of another. I hope it's not a court battle, for fuck's sake. I don't think he'll win that one. Yeah,
he tried that before. Went with the old racist card. That didn't turn out too good. Yeah, that's weird. That's weird because you're too old to be jumping sports. I don't know if he meant jumping sports, but if you ain't making 50 million anywhere else, I don't know. I don't know what that meant. Unless he's gonna go for an exhibition. Do you think he's gonna try to go that route?
Could that be Jake Paul type shit?
Jake Paul type. Yeah, they're gonna try to do their own promotion. Yeah, it won't go far.
No, I
don't.
I
I was very shocked when they said he was the most Googled athlete this year. I was shocked on that. Maybe he has a bigger fan base than we're giving him credit for. Where a promotion on his own would be successful, especially if it was some kind of crossover exhibition fight. Because he is a wrestler. Let's not be fools here. We've seen Terence many times wrestling on these Instagram reels. I believe both of his sons are state champions in wrestling. So the guy likes the ground game, definitely. So yeah, maybe it's that, but it would be cool if it does get signed. I would watch. You know what I mean? But I'd rather him be finishing boxing. We're getting too many of these guys. I guess it's wrong to say retiring on their own terms. I guess that's kind of wrong to say. We need you to fight until you lose, buddy.
Yeah, we need you to fight until you're eating out of a straw every day of your life, right?
Can we get those belts back?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you don't retire yourself, we retire, fool. Not the way around. Shit. It's like you don't stop until we tell you to stop.
Yeah, I guess that's not the right answer either. But there's been a lot of this. These guys aren't keeping the ball rolling. The ball will continue eventually. It'll start rolling again. But him and Floyd are putting a real big void in the history books here. Gonna be a lot of vacant titles.
Yeah, and very soon too, because especially there at super middleweight, right? With all the other ones that he's going to be. It happened to at welterweight before. He unified and right was the undisputed champ. As soon as he left, they all dispersed once more. But that seems to be the I don't know. I guess the new attitude. I don't know if I call it new. Maybe it's always been there. It's only been exposed. But it's like that is kind of sort of one of the problems that boxing has had for a long time. It's no one gives a fuck about the well-being of the sport. Everybody gets in to make as much money as they possibly can. The managers, the promoters, the trainers, the fighters, and then bounce with as much of it out of account without leaving anything behind, without leaving it in a better spot than it was when they first got there. It seemed like that's the plan. It's like, get money, get the fuck out of there as quickly as you can, and whether the sport continues or not is another story. I got my money.
I would leave that at the last two pound for pound guys. I think pound for pound fighters like Roy Jones Jr. did a great job of laying it all on the line at the very end. I think fighters like De La Hoya, Pacquiao, Eric Morales Barrera, these guys that were the faces of boxing here, they put it all on the line. There wasn't too much. It's Floyd. It really did. Floyd and maybe the new era, right? The new PBC era.
Post Floyd Mayweather.
Yes. I would agree with that. Where you have some old school fighters like the Canelo, like the freaking Teofimo Lopez that are still giving the fight fans the fights that they want to see. And don't hold me to the Benavidez one. I'm not talking about that one because I didn't think the timing was ever right on that fight. You know what I'm saying? I think that one was all about timing. But no, it's gonna be Floyd. It's gonna be post Floyd. But Floyd and Terence are pretty big because they're pound for pound at the time that they're doing this, right? They're not giving closure to their careers. And you know, you could say it's a good thing, more power to them. But you know, and Floyd kind of did stay long enough. You know, shame on the boxing world for not getting that one right. I mean, the dude fought until he was what, 42 years old or something like that, right?
Well, but I mean, fought like Conor McGregor, Andre Berto,
No.
those guys.
When did he fight Saul?
2013.
So how old is he? Is he still in his 40s or is he in his 30s?
No, at that time, I want to say he was in his late 30s.
All right. And then he goes back and he fights Manny.
Oh, yeah, 2 years later. Okay.
2 years later.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, all I'm saying is he did stay there long enough. Shame on boxing for not getting it right. Shame on De La Hoya for missing the beat on Canelo. That's where we missed it. Mm-hmm. They jumped that fight too early. They should have waited. Probably should have been flopped. Manny should have fought him in 13, and Canelo should have fought him in 15. That's probably how that one should have went, but we didn't do it that way. But either way, and then you got Terence here. Terence is just, like I said, man, it's a quick rise and then a fall. That's why I don't think, dude, if he keeps it this way, he's not going to be remembered. I don't give a shit how many undisputed titles he has. It's about the fighters. It always comes down to your opposition. That's what they remember. They're not going to remember the titles. He was undisputed. Yeah, who he fought?
Yeah, no, that's true. That is very true. You're not gonna remember, you know, the belts that he collected. You're gonna remember the fights that he had, the people that he beat, I should say.
Yes.
More so the big names that he beat. I've seen of what's his name, Ward. You know, Andre Ward, giving him his props, saying, what a better time to you know, call it quits. What a better time. It's like he's doing it on his own terms.
There's another one. You just said it. Andre
Ward, yeah.
Left hella early.
I've heard him say many times that he left a lot of money on the table. Yep. And I've never, and I always have these kind of oddball questions that kind of stick in my head that I don't forget. And I never have the opportunity to ask the person directly. If I ever get a chance to ask, what's his name, Andre, that question, like who was it at the time, for me to like, I'd be like, damn, that would have been pretty dope ass, like, just, you know, let my mind wander and see who he's talking about. But I've heard him say many times, I left a lot of money on the table after. Like, all right, well, you left, I mean, great, you did it on your own terms, but I don't know if we're going to remember. We're remembering you from the show that you have right now, but I'm not sure if we're going to remember necessarily the career per se. But it seems like he made that decision, and he's agreeing with Crawford with that same decision, saying, yeah, what a better time to go out than when you're on top. I don't know. It just seems like it's too early. Like, they're just way too early.
It's too early, and that's 3 undefeated fighters, bro, that retired undefeated. So they're even making that thing old. Remember when that used to be cool? They're not even making that cool anymore. It sounds like everyone's doing it now.
It's like a new in thing to just call it quits. It's like, Teofimo, you're 26-0. I don't give a fuck. I'm calling it quits. Like, but you're only 39. I don't give a fuck. I'm calling it quits.
Wars retired. Tyson. I mean, we've been hearing the retirement thing for a while. I think that's why I didn't really believe into this one. But hey, if he stays retired, he stays retired. Yeah. What are you gonna say? I just hopefully he does real good with his money. I wish I was in a position, Miguel, to make $1 million and go, you know what?
Yeah.
He should go talk to Evander. There you go. Let's bring this back. A man with a lot of kids. Hey, Evander, how's life been for you? They never stop asking for money. You gotta keep fighting, champ. You gotta keep fighting. Right? Think about it.
Yeah.
Your kids are gonna come up to you fucking hurt. You could have made them $1 million. You could have made them $2 million. You could have made a trust fund. You could have made a savings account. Hopefully he does that with the Canelo money and has enough for insurance and life and all that comes with it for the next 40 or 50 years that he's on this planet. Hopefully it all works out for him. But if it doesn't, like so many professional boxers, it doesn't work out, you're going to leave all this money? Because, I mean, look, I know he doesn't bring all the jewelry, but he's not as humble as one Andre Ward either. Andre, I think, can get away with the retirement because he's been very heavy in church, kind of kept the 9 to 5, right? If that's what we call the jobs that he had with, what was it? First with ESPN and now doing this little podcast thing. Andre might be able to sustain that life because he never wanted a lot. Terence, on the other hand, I just think I don't see him as humble as Andre Ward. So, yeah, if I'm Terence, I'm probably reaching out to all the pro athletes that have 7 babies. And I'm not being funny. Straight answers on see if they regret not doing more, making more decisions they made when they, I could have, should have, would have. And see if that doesn't change his mind to come back and run this thing until you can't run it. And I don't mean by losing, but damn, it seems like you're leaving on top. I sound like a dick tonight. I don't even mean to sound like that. You know what I'm saying, though? Like leaving on top of the money scale, not as far as health. Ugh. Not as far as health, on the money side.
Yeah, I mean, again, maybe there's something that we just don't know. Maybe
exactly.
he is feeling something that is like, damn, my reflexes are, I got hit too much, or those super middleweight punches from fucking, Canelo did actually hurt, but he kept it intact or whatever for the length of the fight. Because I mean, it just, I don't know, it seems like there's more to it. There's more to the story. It's not just that, but this is kind of, it sort of ties into kind of, I guess, the second story that I have here on here, but I'll get to it here shortly. But I don't know. It just, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I believe it. And there's a lot of people that don't. Jake Paul, huh?
Rocky Balboa-ish. Balboa-ish. Is that how you say it? When he had the bleeding of the brain and he was fighting anyways, but then they start telling him, and she was like, "You're getting too old." Maybe it's that. Maybe it's something we don't know, right? That the doctors have been monitoring. And it's time to throw it in.
He mentioned, and this, I'm not sure if this is something that's major per se, but I think he was on the Joe Rogan podcast some time ago, and he talked about being anemic. When you're anemic, you're iron deficient.
Yeah.
I wonder if that has anything to do at this age. That's especially in a sport where you bleed. It happens when you get nosebleeds and shit like that, or cuts and stuff like that. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but it's just it just seems like there's more to the story, and we haven't. I don't think we've heard the end of it. I don't think we've heard the end of it.
And that's a big one too, because like you said, bleeding is pretty bad for them, and they'll have to take. He's gonna have to take medication as he gets older, and he is getting older. So yeah, man, there very well could be something else. Happy retirement if that's what it is. What it is, but boxing will have another vacated division.
Yep. And well, as long as the WBC comes through with Shiraz and Billy, we're gonna get a belt there. But if not, maybe we'll get Shiraz and whoever the fuck else we were talking about last week. But I'm not sure if that's gonna be the next step for the WBC or not. But those belts, they're out there. Who's ready to collect them? Plant maybe ready to pick up another one. Resendiz, the guy who beat him. Charlo, those guys. Munguia. Those guys are still there. Berlanga, maybe they can all grab one and maybe fight each other one day. So I was listening to Paulie Malignaggi talking about it, and he says with Canelo no longer having the straps, and now Crawford retiring, it kind of frees up the belts, and it kind of makes things look exciting again at 168. It's like the belts aren't being held hostage by any one particular dude, Canelo, and prior to Crawford, but to have Canelo still be part of the mix in there. And Canelo himself has said it. He's not necessarily trying to win the belts back at this point. It's just basically big money fights and finishing out however many fights he has left with Turkey. But I mean, why not? Canelo's name in there mixed up with anybody else. I mean, he's already fought some of those guys, right? Plant, Berlanga, and Munguia, but he hasn't fought Shiraz. He hasn't fought in Billy. Maybe one of those guys. Who the fuck knows? Or an all Mexican shootout with Resendiz, the guy who beat Plant. Yeah, that will be something worth watching, I suppose. But yeah, I guess it makes things interesting now with all the belts once again scattered or going to be soon scattered. We'll see what's left with what's next for the 168-pound division. So the second part of the story, I guess, is Canelo himself, who I read recently. This is I got it from Boxing VIP, is the Instagram tag or the Instagram account. Canelo Alvarez will only fight one time next year, and he will plan to face off against Terence Crawford in a rematch, although there has been no negotiation yet for the rematch. This is per Eddie Reynoso. He says Eddie Reynoso just confirmed that the return of Canelo will not happen until will not be until the next month of September. I think he meant the next year of September. So yeah, this is gonna be the first time since 2020 that Canelo has only fought or has not fought on the Cinco de Mayo weekend. Now, from what I understand here, I guess there's going to be some sort of operation or surgery. I forgot what it was, either his hand or his shoulder or something like that. But he's going to do that. And supposedly there still is time for him to recover by the time the Cinco de Mayo week or weekend fight comes around. But he's electing not to. Maybe it's just at his age, maybe he wants a little bit more time to recover. I don't know. But when I think about that, I'm thinking, all right, well, so are we not going to get the rematch? Even though he's going to wait until September, not going to go on fight on the Cinco de Mayo weekend that he normally does. That basically leaves the window open for anybody else to come in on Cinco de Mayo weekend. But September, he still plans to fight in September. I thought to myself, well, I guess this is one of the reasons why Crawford is calling it a day. He doesn't want to wait till September. He's like, fuck this, I'm out of here. But it looks like he's not gonna. We're not gonna get a Canelo and Crawford rematch, although there has been a lot of talk of it in recent weeks. I don't think we really need a rematch, but Andrew, are we disappointed that we're not gonna get that rematch?
No, we're not. Well, listen, I don't know, Miguel. Look, the fight did very good, right? As far as ticket sales and Netflix views, it wasn't that exciting of a fight. So I don't know if that same 47 million come back for the rematch on the ticket sales.
You don't think like hardcore Canelo fans saying no, I know he can fucking beat him. I know he can beat him.
Bro, naive Canelo fans will come back. No, Miguel, I mean, anyone that's been watching boxing for a while, like me, I've been here since Chavez, right? So I've seen a few of my Mexican fighters run the gauntlet, right? They're young, they're in their prime, they're old, they're forgotten. We've seen this happen many times, and I think all of us old timers, you included, know where Canelo is at this point of his career. Right? It's not coming back. The glory days aren't coming back. He's not. Bernard didn't go to the mountain twice. Bernard waited at the bottom for a very long time, made it to the mountain at an old age, and stood there. This is not Canelo. Canelo's already been to the mountaintop. I think it's time for Canelo to come down, and if he wants a few fights on his way down, that's fine, but it's still coming down, and it's still coming to an end, and he might not even be favored in a lot of these matchups coming up, especially if Shiraz has another great knockout performance here in the early 2026. You really think they're going to have Canelo beating him coming off of an injury coming out, at 30, high 30s, or is he 40 now? High 30s.
Mid 30, 35. He'll be 35, or he just turned 35, I think, in November. So
he'll be 36.
Yeah.
When this fight happens, if it happens, he might not even be the favorite that night. That's how old. He's old, bro. He's 36, man, and he's an old 36.
Yeah, that's true.
He's not one of these guys that blossomed late. You know what I mean? That's what we need to remember. It's just like Chavez. Chavez Sr. was the same thing, and it was a little earlier because they didn't take that great care of their bodies back in the day like they're doing now with all the conditioning and the vitamins and everything else. But even Chavez in his 32 years of age, it was just downhill from there on out. Could never bring it back.
Many years in the gym, many wars, been fighting since they were 15, both men. It is what it
And
is.
many training camps, because
Yes.
we think about the fights, we think about one night of the fight, but really training camp is 6 to 8 weeks prior to that. That's a lot of wear and tear on your body. It's not just one night. It's not like they just wake up one day and it's like, all right, cool, fight night, boom, I'm ready, let's go. It's the training that leads up to it. It's the rigorous training, I guess.
The
That's
running.
uh,
What did, what
yeah.
did what did Joe Frazier said in one training camp? He did enough miles to run around the globe or something like that. You know what I mean? 12 miles every other day, 6 in the morning, 6 at night, every other day for 8 months straight. Like normal people don't do this.
Mhm. And then for what? Let me see. He said he turned pro at like 15 or something like that, right? Or 16 in Canelo. So that's a long time to be doing it, you know?
George Foreman used to put a Jeep behind him and run up a hill. Like, yeah,
Right.
I'm counting the day I stopped with the Jeep bullshit. That was
Yeah.
George. That was George in his late 40s. Like, fuck this. I'm not doing this anymore. So yeah, dude, we don't live that type of life to and I think and I do believe Canelo is there. Um haven't had him have a knockout victory in a long time. I had him losing to Terence. It's been down for me for a minute. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
this is and now the break at this age, and he's got a surgery, right? This is what's happening. He's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
get
some sort of either on his hand or his shoulder. I thought I read something like that, but he's having some sort of surgery done. And this was, let me see, back in 2018 when he first rolled over to the zone, he had some surgery on his knee or something like that, and that was what 6 years ago already, or 7 years ago, I should say. So that was he healed fine there, right? Obviously because he was much younger, but that's a major thing. If you watch that fight, he had a knee brace on. It's like they just keep coming. The injuries keep coming, the surgeries keep coming, and the recovery takes longer.
And if we go back to that video, now that you say that, I know for a fact, if we go back to our records, you will hear us say, well, he's doing this surgery for his last run. Well, damn it, you just said it was 6 or 7 years ago. That was his last run, bro.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That leaves quite the void at not just. I mean, we'll start with this year, right? Because I mean, he only has so many fights left, so there's gonna be a point where he's not going to be fighting even in September, right? Whenever he retires and it's gone, we're talking about two pretty crucial. I don't call them, one is a holiday, a Mexican holiday. The other one is just not that important. Cinco de Mayo is some fucking made up shit, but it's a celebration, and he still fights on that weekend. That's gonna leave quite a void starting with this next one. So we're talking 5 months from now. Um, who the hell can jump in there? Like, is this up to Benavidez to jump in there and be like, all right, yo, I'll take the mantle. Time to do my version of September and May, or who else? Who can go in there and take over those spots?
Well, I mean, as far as Benavidez and Ramirez, right? If they really do
Mm.
throw down, it could be the winner of that one. It could. Ramirez would probably have a few more fights that Golden Boy could push through Opatai, and then maybe Better Beef and Bivol would move up at that point because he would be the cash cow, right?
Mhm.
So it could be something with the winner of Benavidez and Ramirez takes the mantle by default. Not really, you know what I mean? Not
Yeah,
earned.
not really like Christianing him, like here you go, have it. It's more like anybody wants it, like come on,
Yeah, like
it's also yeah,
timing. How about that one? Like
yeah.
it's
There you
just
go.
the timing.
As you always say, it's the timing. It's the right place at the right time kind of thing. And maybe, I mean, maybe that person's not even on our radar right now. Maybe come then, it's like, oh shit, maybe this is the guy who ends up being the next thing. Because we're gonna find out real soon. If he's not gonna fight in May, who the hell's gonna take over that spot? You know what I'm saying? That's what's it's kind of important,
Right,
I'd say.
right.
But I remember when Canelo decided to come over here and work with Turkey, we were talking about a 4-fight thing, right? So as I understand it, we got through two, right? 2 fights. So if we're counting right and we're keeping tabs, we're talking about 2 more fights that Canelo has before calling it a career. We don't know who those guys are going to be, but it looks like we're going to get Canelo in September of 2026. Maybe the rematch with with Crawford if it does happen, but realistically, probably not. I would be down, and this is just kind of a weird off one. I'm not saying it's a big money fight, but the guy who beat what's his name, Caleb Plant, Armando Resendiz. He's a Mexican fighter, and he beat Plant. Why not? Why not have an all Mexican beatdown, or I should say fight? I should say for Mexican Independence Day weekend in September. I know a lot of people aren't too familiar with Resendiz, but some people started it. He got some sort of recognition after that victory over Caleb Plant. But that's just grasping at straws here. It's like, all right, all Mexican showdown. I'm down with that.
Yeah. I'm starting to look up rankings for the next Mexican superstar. First guy I found was, how about WBO featherweight champion Rafael Espinoza, 28-0-24. Not bad. Good division. He's got a body to grow, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true.
Yeah. So there's one. It's gonna be someone out of left field.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not even sure if he's on our radar right now. Maybe he will become 2026. And it's like, oh, this is the fool right here.
Yep. Damn. Yep. So as we go, I'll try to find more names to drop for you.
When I was thinking about Crawford retiring, like I said earlier, I thought he was gonna maybe try to do what Floyd did with Oscar and just retire for 1 year and 1 day and not give him the rematch and come back. But now that I'm starting to think about Crawford's age, he'll be 39 by that point. I don't know if he can play those games. I'm not sure if he's willing to play those games first and foremost, but I'm not sure if he has the time to be playing those kinds of games. I'm not sure how old Floyd was when he pulled that shit off, but I don't think he was 39. I could be wrong, but I don't think it was 39. I think it was in his early 30s, if against Oscar.
Right.
All right. So that was one story. All right. So on to the other major story, of course. As I said at the beginning of the show, it is the 11th hour. We've reached it. This is actually happening. Jake Paul is fighting Anthony Joshua. At this point, I think there's too much money on the stake, or too much money at stake to pull out. There's too much money to lose for any one of these guys to pull out. And I'm talking about Jake Paul, of course, because from the very beginning, we suspected Jake Paul might feign some injury or something like that to try to pull out of the fight. We got some teaser last week or earlier last week in regards to him with this Twitter, some sort of cryptic message on Twitter talking about it is what it is, that had to be done kind of thing. And it's like, oh shit, this is it right here, right? No, and you know what? I'm going to mention something. From what I'm hearing, from what I've read, that announcement was Daniel Dubois' sister coming in to, I don't know if it's into training camp or on the fight card. I forgot what the fuck it was, but it was damn insignificant, like as insignificant as possible. I watched the final press conference earlier today. It was on right before we started recording, and I don't remember any media members asking him what the fuck was that about. At the very least, that, you know what I'm saying? And I look, sometimes I'm a media guy, all right? And I'm a nobody. I'm not a fucking journalist. I didn't study it, but when they let me in, and I'm digging it. Sometimes they just it just seems like they let anybody in. But I benefited from it, so I'm in. You know what I'm saying? I get it. But when I hear some of these questions that these people ask, like media, I seriously cringe and I facepalm myself. Like, how did these damn questions are so fucking stupid, and they have a way of asking them as if they're real important questions, and they're not. They're fucking stupid as hell. And there are times where I haven't covered a lot of major fights by any stretch, and when I'm at these smaller fights, sometimes I can't think of a question to ask. I can't think, and mind you, I can't think of a good question to ask. I'm not talking about, oh, you have all these people out here. How does this make you feel? How does it make you feel? It's like that same fucking question every single time. So if I can't think of a good question, frankly, I just keep my mouth fucking shut and I don't ask anything. So I'll give these people some credit because they at least ask a damn question, which is horrendous as hell, but they spit it out, right? Nobody asked Jake Paul about this. And by all means, if you guys are watching this, and by all means comment. If I missed it, please let me know. because if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I could have sworn no one asked him jack shit about that. They were all asking him about other stuff and what's next, and do you really think you can beat him? And these questions were so damn. And then I don't want to get into it, but people just asking stupid questions. Anyway, so I don't remember that anybody asking a question like that. Like, what the fuck is that about? But it seemed like they were ready to go. Again, we're at the 11th hour. Final press conference today. Mind you, the fight is on Friday, so that means the weigh-ins are going to be tomorrow. 24 hours away from the weigh-ins, and they can't pull out now. Jake Paul can't pull out now, right? It's too fucking late. First off, Andrew, did you catch any part or any bits and pieces or clips of their press conference, their final press conference today?
No, not the press conference. I seen a little bit of the workout. Look, dude, Joshua looks fucking ready. He does not look like he's taking this as a joke. I don't know why everyone kept saying that Joshua is, and then why they keep saying it like the fight's already over. But today, there was a difference in both men. Jake Paul is playing around, jumping, playing to the crowd, playing to Joshua, and Joshua is just shadow boxing like a true professional. He just looks like a pro. If he just, this is why I'm saying like the scripted version is even him winning by knockout, because there's no other way. And now I've seen the body language of Jake Paul twice, and twice it's been nerves. Like he knows he's in over his head. I think he knows it. Anyone who watches it, watch what he's doing today at the final workout. He's playing around.
Mm-hmm.
He's acting like this is not serious. Did you hear about him already calling out other people? I guess at one point in the press conference, he started naming Deontay Wilder. He wants to fight him next.
Oh yeah. So I believe somebody asked him, because when Deontay was asked about his prediction for the fight, he immediately he started out with the disclaimer. Well, if it's a real fight, XYZ, right? So then somebody asked Jake Paul about that, and of course Jake Paul was like, "Well, I'm gonna have to send him a cease and desist letter," and then the lawsuit comes afterwards. They keep this bullshit about fixed fights. So he throws out a whole bunch of shade at Deontay, including that. It's like, well, fuck it, he's next, I guess.
Yeah. I don't think the gamble here is as if Jake Paul will win. I think the gamble for Friday is what round is AJ gonna win? What is it scripted for? Is it scripted to be past 2 rounds and get him past Ngannou? Because look, a lot of people aren't going to believe it if he does that. If Jake makes it past Francis Ngannou did, there's going to be people bringing that up. I think you mentioned that 2 weeks ago or a week ago. That's a very good point. Are they going to allow that to happen? Because I think that opens up a major debate on Ngannou versus Jake. So maybe that's the script. It's still him losing by TKO, though, people. You just got to pick the round. If the casinos are giving you rounds, the bet on Friday night is what round is Jake Paul going to take a knee in? What round is the ref going to step in? What round is the body shot going to land? That's what you need. That's what we're looking at here. There is no way Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua took this payday to go lay down in America. You're fucking tripping. You know what I tell you all the time about the Brits coming over here, dude. You think 2 of them are coming over here and laying down right before the biggest fight of their lives, really? Tyson Fury. And, hey, look, Tyson Fury came out and lashed at AJ today, right?
Yeah, that was the next part of the topic is the criticism that he got off of saying, I'm here to kill him if I got to kill him, and that we criticize heavily Fury. I'm sorry, not Deontay Wilder for that. Saying I want a body on my record kind of thing, right? So we criticize them for that, and of course Tyson immediately comes out and attacks. Or not Fury, fucking AJ for saying like, yeah, this is. And when AJ was asked about this during the press conference, he said, "This is my job. This is what I fucking do. Yeah, if I'm here to fucking knock you the fuck out and I send you into the afterworld, then I do it." But yeah, Fury came out and was like, "That wasn't good."
And that was great though. For over there, that just set their fight off. Believe that. Now their fan bases are talking again. All they're praying for, AJ fans, is he gets through Friday. Get through Friday and fucking Fury is on. It's the fight they've been waiting for, and it's maybe got a little bit of a window still left to where they're gonna. It's gonna be a great fight, and not just Lewis Tyson, where it's two old ass men. Because I gotta think, if AJ can pull off a sound victory, a good highlight reel like he did against Ngannou, that's gonna be the driving point for the Fury fight. Nobody will even remember Dubois. They're gonna keep showing Ngannou, Jake Paul.
Yeah,
right. He put him to sleep.
And Jake Paul in particular, because he's American, so of course they're gonna want to like have that highlight reel in heavy rotation. Like this is what they did to the U.S. boxing heavyweight savior or cruiserweight or whatever the fuck it was. But yeah, I'm sure that one is gonna get heavy rotation on that one. But would you you said it was good that Fury came out and kind of criticized AJ for that, but good because now there's more interest between them two. But what he said wrong? Joshua, I'm talking about. Should he not have said that?
Yeah, yes. I mean, obviously, if we're gonna get mad at Deontay talking about you want to body someone, you got to get mad at AJ too. And it's a foolish thing to talk like that when you're in a sport where things like that can happen. Everybody already knows the dangers of boxing. We don't need to come out like that, Besides, put a man to sleep sounds rough enough. Most men don't.
Yeah.
That's how you know he's a fighter, right? Because most men were like, "Bro, if you knocked me out, I would still be very upset. You don't have to kill me, fuck face. Like, what the fuck?"
Right.
You know
that would be overkill. Like, you must really hate me to want to not just put me to sleep, but make sure I never wake up again. That would be like over the top, dude. You can knock me out. I'll take the knockout. I'll wake up the next fucking morning with a headache, but don't kill me. But yeah, I read that. I was looking at all the stuff that was going on this weekend, and today was in particular with Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. And I came across a post of Timothy Bradley, our boy Timmy, on the All the Smoke. I think it was the show with Andre Ward. I forgot the name of the show, but anyway, he was talking. It came across a little desperate. He was calling Jake Paul fake, and then he immediately, without any hesitation, says, "Oh, I'll whip his ass. I'll whip him and his trainer." Talking about Jay Leon Love. Just right off the bat, it's like, whoa, dude. You do know, like, you sound like you're really desperate here. Like you are really trying to get under Jake Paul's skin, like he gives two flying fucks who the hell you are, and to try to get yourself some sort of fight. Like I'll take both of them. And then and Andre Ward kind of like egging him on. It's like, oh, the same night. And he's like, yeah, I'll take him on the same fucking night. Like, bro, come on, stop. Even if he did, but gosh, can you not sound this desperate, please? It sounds like, man, you know what? My ESPN deal with Top Rank is running out. I need some fucking cash. Let me go ahead and see if I can try to get this fight, secure a fight. If Gervonta doesn't want to fight you, I have another 5'4" guy here. I don't know how tall he is, but anyway. But I thought that was funny. When I saw that, I'm like, dude, that reeks of desperation. Did you see that clip of Bradley?
Yes, and he does reek of desperation, and he's done this before. He is kind of an attention whore when it comes to social media, where he says outrageous things, I think, to get a reaction from people. This, to me, is one of those times. I mean, look, his reaction ain't going to be that big, too, because there's not too many people outside of the boxing world that even know who Timothy Bradley is anymore.
Right.
It's just, it is what it is. And the needle don't move. It doesn't move on Bradley. So, he will, what he should probably do is reach out to one of the other broadcasting teams and see if they're looking for a new voice. I mean, he was decent on his play-by-play. I don't remember ever being like, oh, Bradley has to go. Now, do I agree with every damn thing he says? No. And he is a little bit of homer, but I think that's what the networks are looking for, right? Mm-hmm. They want a guy in that microphone that's going to back up their guy no matter what. So at least one of them can be that way. Does Bradley have more to offer than Sergio Mora? Yeah, if they're both if they're both available, I don't know, I might lean towards Bradley. So if I'm Timothy and you need money, look at DAZN, baby.
That's not a bad idea. I'm going to talk about that here momentarily, but in regards to the team, the broadcast team for the fight on Friday. But before I get to that, we just talked about him, right? Oscar De La Hoya talking about while criticizing, I guess, Crawford, but he goes as far as to claim that he sees Jake Paul becoming champion at some point. Let me see if I can pull this up here.
Oh yeah.
Jake Paul becomes world champion within 2 years. And he was on a show, right? And he was asked about that. And he made it pretty clear. He's like, he's been carefully choreographing his career to fight the right people at the right time, the Chavezes when they're on the way out kind of thing, right? And those kinds of guys to where he can build himself to a world title fight. And it was on that show, I forget what the name of this, but those guys from DAZN, the Akin Barak guys, and they were surprised. They're like, what? Like, really? Like, you really think he could do it? And it's like, yeah. And again, shout out to our boy RIP Lee Honish. He says it, right? It's like, you can go 15, 20-0 and get yourself a fucking belt. And it seems as though that's the direction that Jake Paul is going. Now, is it within the next 2 years? I don't know about all that, but I don't know. What do you think about this comment that he says here? Because they even talked to him about, or they asked Oscar about a fight with Zurdo Ramirez, talking about Jake Paul here. But he's like, yeah, I think that fight's very realistic. Like, okay, I guess he's willing to play ball, I suppose, if it means more money and maybe a stronger, what's the word? Strength in numbers over here instead of having to be over here with Turkey. Maybe he's willing to do that. I don't know. But really, within 2 years, what do you think about that?
It all depends on Friday. Friday is going to mean a lot because Miguel, if he gets knocked out like Ngannou did, and I hate keep bringing up Ngannou's name, but he never came back to boxing. That's how big of a right hand Joshua landed.
Mm-hmm.
That could very well be Jake Paul, you guys.
Hey, by the way, he hasn't gone back to MMA either. But FYI, he hasn't gone back there.
So he never got a comeback at all.
As of right now, because when he first signed with PFL, PFL gave him a whole bunch of freedom and said, all right, fuck it. He had one fight in PFL, won a belt, said they let him have his fight with Fury, and then ended up getting knocked out by AJ. And as I understand it, he still got a contract with PFL. He still has to go back and honor however many fights he has left on that, and he has yet to do that.
Wow. Yeah, so that's why we really need to see Friday, because Jake is playing with fire too, just like Ngannou did that night, and it didn't end well for him. So, and I did not know that he hadn't even made a return to the MMA. I thought at least he had one comeback fight over there since then. But either way, it depends on Friday. Now, if he gets through 8 rounds, and most people are screaming this is a fixed bullshit Mike Tyson like fight, of course he's going to be world champ. Because he's going to play it all the way to the belt. And if he's really getting guys $50 million paydays, of course one of those older champs are going to be like, yeah, come get this belt, baby.
Yeah.
I already got my land picked out in Puerto Rico.
I already got the blueprint on my house. I already got everything going. Oh boy, that's pretty reasonable. Now he was asked, Jake Paul, I'm saying during the press conference about whether or not he would want to maybe stick around at cruiserweight or go up to heavyweight, and he's like, yeah, I mean, I don't know, maybe cruiserweight, that seems more realistic, but I didn't get into this just to become fucking nothing. And it's like, well, if I can shoot for the heavyweight title, why not? Fuck it, let's just do it. So it sounds as though he's more than willing to go up to heavyweight. I'm talking about Jake Paul, but a stop at cruiserweight is probably the more realistic, fight, I guess. Yeah.
Yes, and once again, we're gonna see how realistic his heavyweight run is in a few hours here, right? So, let's stick with that. And also, I think I would have put the pressure on Oscar with, you got to give me a belt. Is it gonna be the lineal title, or is it gonna be an interim title? Is it gonna be some obscure WBU? I don't even know if that's still around, but you know what I'm saying. Some bullshit title, bro. Or are you talking one of the main 4?
Yeah, right. One of the primary, the ones in the 4-belt era, one of those guys, not the IBO shit or anything like that.
Yes. Yeah, or an intern. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that too. Just to correct myself here. Okay, so it looks like Ngannou did fight after his fight here. It was it looks like he got knocked out against what was his name, AJ, in March of 2024, and then he had one victory in the PFL, one fight in October 2024, and he hasn't fought since.
Wow.
So over a year now. Just to correct myself there, make sure I fact check myself. In regards to what we're talking about earlier, the team, the what is it called? The broadcast team. So it looks like we're gonna have some familiar names, right? It looks like, let me see here. Mauro Ronaldo, which we know, I don't know if you're a big fan of, but he's the Mamma Mia guy. He will be, I guess, one of the leads, I suppose. It's going to be him, Lennox Lewis. This is what I'm reading here, according to what I pulled up here on Most Valuable MVP Promotions, right? Mauro Ronaldo, Corey Erdman, if I can pronounce it properly, but he's one of the guys from DAZN. Actually, he's the dude with the glasses from DAZN. If you guys remember, most recently in that Pacheco fight from last weekend, he was one of the lead guys. Lennox Lewis. All right. Sean Wheelock. Sean Wheelock is an MMA guy. I remember him from that. And then from Bare Knuckle, he's also one of the Bare Knuckle boxing commentators. Christina Poncher, we know her, of course, from Top Rank. David Hay, former heavyweight champion, I think it was weight. Yeah. And then a whole bunch of people I don't know. I know Ariel Helwani. I know Layla Ali, Andre Ward. I don't know who Kate Scott is. I don't know who Big Mo is. And Sibley Scholes. I don't know who any people are, but they have some pull, some talent to some degree, and that's who's going to be on the mic. Now, I don't know who's going to be. It seems as though the ones that are going to be like the primary ones, at least that's what if I'm looking at here, Mauro, Lennox Lewis, and this Corey dude. It looks like that's going to be the guys who are going to be running the shit. Everybody else kind of like playing secondary. I even saw someone say something, or I read it online. Who the fuck was it? I always forget her name. What's that actress's name from Brooklyn? The Puerto Rican actress who's a boxing fan.
Rosie Perez.
Yeah, Rosie Perez. Yeah. Now I don't know what she's going to be doing, or if she's going to be to any degree commentating or having a mic in front of her or anything like that. She's a fan. She's been a fan for a long time. She's knowledgeable, but I don't think she's very good at color commentating. If you guys ever, I forgot which Jake Paul fight it was that she was at, but it just seemed like she was quiet and was kind of forgot that she had a microphone in front of her and stopped talking for a hot minute. And it wasn't until somebody had to like throw her the thing, like, "Oh, what a great right, Rosie?" Like, "Hello, what the fuck? Where you at?" And she's like, "Oh yes," it's almost like she was just kind of like, she's a fan, so she's like watching the fight, forgetting that she had a microphone. So anyway, yeah, I don't know about that commentating team there, Andrew. I'm not sure if I'm liking that.
Yeah, no, hey, look, I'm going to tell you what, Lennox Lewis is going to be selling the shit out of Fury versus AJ all night. You watch. Mark my word, bro. I think he's more excited about that fight than he is about what he's calling that night. So yeah, it's going to be funny, but hopefully, I don't even know. I would rather it end quick. I know I called 5 rounds the other day. Starting to question if he's going to let it go to 5. I think that might be little too long.
Let's keep in mind that this fight is 8 rounds. So really, AJ doesn't really have to worry about cardio. He doesn't have to go 10. He doesn't have to go 12. He can start hard early. He can go right off the bat, and I'm sure he's going to have plenty of gas to go those 8 rounds regardless, even with starting hard. So if he puts the pedal to the metal early on the first 2 rounds, yeah, again, to quote Wilder, if this is legit, I don't, maybe 4 rounds, then, and even then is more than Ngannou, but regardless, 4 rounds is something, it's like, oh, by the way, I believe
let's give Ngannou credit that he did stand and fight AJ. And I don't think Paul's doing that tomorrow.
Yes. I was just going to say that because I believe the ring is big. It's like, I think they said 22 by 22 or 24 by 24, one of those two, but it's going to be a big fucking ring, enough for him to run around and at least, if nothing else, avoid AJ for as much of the round as possible. And, I don't know. Is AJ good at cutting off the ring? Because I can anticipate, I'm anticipating Jake Paul running a lot.
Yeah. I heard that, and I haven't confirmed it, that AJ was actually at Paul's house Did you see anything about this?
No.
Yeah, there was people thinking they were scripting it out right then and there.
Look, I can't for as okay. And one of the dude who was running the or facilitating the press conference is Ariel Helwani. If we're already familiar with who he is, he was talking to he was asking questions back and forth, right? And he asked AJ about how, the way he looks. He looked different. He looks more at peace. He seems more calm, not so wound up or anything like that. If he's going in here knowing the fight's scripted, and it's like, I'm going to win, I'm going to get a fuck to the money, why wouldn't I be calm? Why wouldn't I be chill, right? There really isn't a risk. There's no harm that's going to be done to me or my body or my well-being or anything like that. I'm going to go in through a throwdown, crack him with a good body shot. He's going to take a knee and I win. Boom, 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 and this is why I was been saying this. We're at the 11th hour. It's going to happen, right? And tomorrow are the weigh-ins. Tomorrow we're going to find out. Well, at least we think we'll find out. I think of the weight, right? The 245. He has to be. AJ can't be more than 245 pounds. And then I suppose that means fight night, right? I guess I don't know. I'm not sure how much more.
They never did. Yeah, they never did say if it's only for the weigh-in and then he can add some weight. But yeah, that's huge, man, because I didn't think 245 was that hard for him to make. And if you watched AJ through social media, he made it 2 weeks ago or something like that. Like, he's been on weight. You know what I mean? So yeah, then you're gonna allow him to eat. It's just seems like a bad recipe for Paul, but we will see. One thing I didn't like. Did you see his outfit?
Who's
Jake Paul's?
The outfit that he's gonna wear for the fight, the Hulk Hogan outfit. Yeah, I did see it. Yeah.
No, I dig the Hogan thing, but why ruin the alligator skin, bro? If you were gonna kill a 12-foot gator, why ain't you rocking the gator, bro? Why dye the skin? Now it doesn't even look like an alligator. What the fuck is that? I know Floyd's already done the alligator skin outfit, but I thought, what a waste of a 12-foot. You could have really done something better with that outfit than I mean, Hulk Hogan. I don't know. Was Hulk Hogan's an alligator skin? Am I missing the ball here?
I don't remember Hogan ever being in
alligator skin, right? Yeah. So yeah, I thought he tried to do too much there. Him and his boys were smoking way too much weed, and they were like, "Bro, let's go kill an alligator and make it your outfit." And all of them were like, "Yeah, that's so fucking tight. Yeah." What? And that's when you went overboard. They should have just stopped it right there. Someone had to kill the shit with the whole Hulk Hogan thing. And I wish you. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I suspect it kind of evolved to that. Like, I remember back in the day watching a documentary on Prince Nassim Hamed leading up to his fight with Barrera, and they were asking him questions like the people with the documentary, and they're like, "Why do you want green gloves?" And he's like, "I want green gloves with goat skin," or some shit like that, right? And he's like, "I want a green," right? And I can imagine that was happening in that conversation with Jake Paul. Jake Paul's like, "Dude, wouldn't it be tight if you like go out and made your own leather for the bag?" Like, "Oh shit!" And then passes to the next guy's like, "What if it was alligator?" "Oh shit!" And then it just kind of kept escalating. It's like, bruh. And then they have the music in the background. It's like, "Is that Hulk Hogan's theme? You should do a Hulk Hogan, great American hero." And it just kind of like slowly progressed to this weird ass. As like, you should do even further. You should go out and kill the motherfucker, and you should post it on social media. Like, it just slowly evolved to this fucking idea of the alligator skin, which was outrageous. But whatever. It's not he's not like you said, not the first person to do it. But man, he's really gonna dye the shit out of that alligator skin to make it yellow and red,
flame red. Yeah.
I'm real quick question. I'm gonna open the door for my dog here because he wants to get out. But do you think he's going that Hulk Hogan theme because he's American and he's gonna try to do this fucking America versus British shit?
Well, of course. I mean, it's a good sell. He gets to play to the crowd on the walk-in. I really do think there's gonna be a lot of entertainment involved in this fight because the fight might not be as good as many people think it's going to be, especially if Jake Paul's doing nothing but running around. So I think the walk-in might be a very big portion of the entertainment part. It's going to be very Peter McNeilish, dude. You know,
Well,
where
I know he'll come into the Hulk Hogan theme. I'm almost certain he's gonna do that shit.
but remember when the bell rang with Peter McNeil and Tyson? Whoever hasn't seen Tyson versus McNeely, go back and watch that fight. I think that's what we're going to see a lot in this one. Wild punches. First punch that lands, he goes down, right? Doesn't the corner jump in? It's only like round 1 or something.
Yeah, it's like a minute 30, a minute 29.
Dude in the golf hat is like, no more. Like, what the fuck is this, bro? Bam, 20 million easy.
You know what? Can you imagine if that's part? I mean, I'm going down the rabbit hole of it being scripted, mind you. What if, like, to save face, to make Jake Paul still look like a badass, his corner throws in the towel, and he's over here like pretending, like kind of like, you know, when you're drunk and you're like gonna get in a fight and your buddies hold you back, you're like, hold me back. Well, no, let me go, fool, right? It's gonna be one of those like, well, I didn't quit, my corner threw in the towel for me, you know. And even though that was like the plan the whole fucking time. I can almost imagine. I'm almost seeing this conversation happen between these two.
Do you see where it's a lot funner in picking what round it's going to end in instead of going for the fucking Hail Mary of, I think Jake's going to win an 8-round decision. He's going to go 8 rounds. They're really going to play it for 8 rounds of not being hit by a solid punch of a heavyweight champ? Bullshit. Especially if you watch the highlights that came out on the sparring matches that me and you went over earlier today, those weren't some good. Those are not. That's not even the right way to say it. Those were some major flaws that young man has going into the ring. And you know, the guy that put that reel out, I'm usually not a big fan of his videos. He does a lot of the let's look if there's any bums on his record kind of deal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he does that suspicious shit. Everybody knows he uses that term to phrase my people's. I will listen to some of his stuff. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not.
It's not, because it's very low picking. It's low picking fruit there. Everybody has scrubs on their record. So you want to go there and make a fucking video every day about a professional fighter that has some questionable wins? It's kind of ridiculous. You know, any historian, anybody that's followed boxing knows what a showcase is. So with that being said, I like this video today. Those are some good points that he had. Some good it's good sparring video that he had. Don't know where he got that from, but you know. So yeah, and yeah, dude, you can't lean straight back. You can't bend over for the right hand. Like that's amateur hour, man. You know, and it's not Jake's fault. We seen amateur hour versus Chavez. I keep telling you guys, go watch the last 3 rounds of that fight. The boy's getting hit. Like, Chavez really started bringing it on those last 3 rounds. I believe that was Chavez's game plan from round 1, is I'm fucking going to let him throw all the punches he wants. Chavez knows he could take a shot. He knows his body. In the last few rounds, I'm going to try to take it back. He did. It didn't work, but he had major success. He had so much success that I'm like, dude, if fucking Anthony just has a little bit of this success, this fight is not going forward. It's a weird deal. Props to Jake for doing it. We'll see how he finishes this, though. Right now, he's getting props for being brave and going through with it and not letting his fear of laying down at night and seeing big ass Anthony Joshua in his dreams get the best of him and then pulling out. I give him that much props.
Maybe this was the best case scenario, is a short a short notice type of fight with AJ, because having to think about him for 6 weeks or something, it's like, yeah, I can imagine there's more of a probability of him pulling out. And if he had to think about, if he went to bed every night thinking about AJ and be like, damn, the fuck's gonna knock me out, at some point he's gonna want to fucking bail.
Hey, especially with his nose being crooked after only 2 weeks, probably wouldn't have been a fight. He would have been hurt.
Right. But by this time tomorrow, we're going to see the weights, so we'll see how they look on the scale. Did you see how AJ and Jake Paul were kind of, I don't know, sort of competing with jewelry? Like they had, is that? Please remind me if I'm wrong. Is that out of character for AJ? I don't remember him coming out with bling, at least not to that degree. He had a big ass fucking chain. I don't remember Anthony Joshua being that way.
Yeah, that I don't know. He hangs out in the kind of places that you would think you would need that kind of jewelry, but he's also religious, right? So I don't know how much he can walk around with that stuff on him like that. So maybe that has something to do when he's in Dubai, when he's in Muslim areas. I believe Anthony Joshua is Muslim. Yeah,
Oh shit, is he? I don't know.
I believe he is. I
Huh.
believe he is.
All right.
Might be wrong, but I think when he's in those type of environments, he's not wearing it as much. Maybe when he's at home with the fellas.
Interesting.
Remember, he used to sell weed.
Right.
Remember that was like the big story about him when he was out of the Olympics or some shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah, he got arrested or whatever, and they let him
Yeah.
go because. Yeah, I remember that. All right. Well, before we move on to the next topic, anything else you want to add to this, AJ and Jake Paul?
Nope. That's it.
All right. Fair enough. Before we move on to the next topic, make sure to check out Health Isol tallow-based soap and tallow-based products. If you find anything you like on their website, make sure to use the checkout code MADBoxing10 at checkout and get 10% off of your purchase, or make sure to follow the affiliate link that we're going to include in the description of the video. Lavender patchouli, I believe, is the specific scent of soap that I absolutely love, and I use it for everything from my hair and the whole fucking thing. So once more, Health Isol tallow-based soap. Be sure to check them out because they're pretty awesome. All right, so I read this and I was I don't know. Sometimes when I read stuff like this, I kind of understand where Dana White and his bullshit is coming from. Schofield, Floyd Schofield Sr. and Jr. saying they want 10 milli to fight Abdullah Mason. Now, Abdullah Mason isn't exactly a superstar yet. He's on his way there, but this is like superstar type money that they're asking. This is, I don't know how much money Shakur and Teofimo are going to get from Riyadh for their fight, but I can't imagine it'll be more than this. If Beterbiev and Bivol got 10 each for, I think, the rematch, if I'm not mistaken, like one of the two. I forget it was the first one or the next one, but what the fuck is this? What is this? This is like deliberately outpricing themselves so they don't have to get in the ring with somebody like Abdullah Mason and two young undefeated guys in the ring at the in their, I want to say their prime yet, but they're on their way to their prime. They're still very young and they haven't completely matured yet. They're still on the way there. So they're Abdullah already has a belt. He picked up that vacant belt up in his most recent victory over Sam Noakes. But what the hell? What is this? Like when I see stuff like this, I'm like, fuck, you're not making a good case for yourself. I don't know how much he got paid in his most recent fight when he knocked the snot out of Tevin Farmer, but Schofield is so outpricing himself on here. Is this pretty obvious? Do they not want to fight Abdullah Mason?
Yeah, they don't want to fight. I mean, it's just an absurd number to throw out there. I don't know where the dad got that from. Look, he says, look at the numbers. I don't know what the numbers are, all I know is that neither of those men are household names to be saying 10 million,
Not even to split, honestly. That's too much. To give 5 to each is still like over the top.
Yeah, I mean, Miguel, these are both very green fighters.
Mm-hmm.
Schofield having only one big win. And really, I mean, if people count this as a duck, which it kind of looks like a duck, it looks like he outpriced himself on purpose. That's your second duck in your young career. So you have one good win and 2 ducks.
Yeah, and 2 pullouts. He pulled out of the fight with Shakur, and
that was what I was meaning.
Oh, gotcha. Okay,
yeah, that was the duck. But yes, we're on the same page. Shakur, I mean, that's absurd. We've seen these dads do this before, man. Dads can ruin these kids' careers, and hopefully his dad is just playing games, shooting high, so when they come low, they can say maybe they get a few extra $100,000 out of them than where they were initially going to accept. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of BS in negotiating. This is definitely one of those BS ones. But I think it's so bad that if I'm Turkey, I would have hung up the phone. I would have been like, call me back when you have a brain. Click. Fucking, and then think of the next guy. The fuck? They'll get it. They'll get it, Miguel, soon. You know what I mean? Like, what? The ball will keep rolling, dude. Your son isn't fucking walking on water here. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? 10 million? Hang up, turkey. Hang up.
I can imagine the Schofield camp is like, hello, turkey, hello. Like, he's gonna get some recording the way Turkey does, instead of when supposedly he calls on during the press conference. No, there's gonna be some fucking recording. It's like the answer machine. If this is Floyd and his father, call me back when you have brain.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Call me back when you have brain. I'll be the voicemail.
Yes, and don't call back until then. Oh my. There's one more story here that I actually wanted to toss in here before we call it. So there's this one of the Twitter accounts, Pound for Pound, that's what they're called, a rumor report. Devin Haney and Lewis Crocker are in early negotiations for a unification fight in the UK. The WBO and IBF titles will be on the line. All right, newly crowned WBO welterweight champion Devin Haney, coming off of that great victory over Brian Norman Jr., looking to unify against Lewis Crocker, who's the IBF champ. Now, it says here in the UK, I do believe Crocker is a UK fighter, so it's not unfamiliar territory for Devin. Devin has gone to the UK to fight, or Australia even when when he beat Cambosos. So it's not like it's out of the norm for him. He's more than welcome to go do that, and more than willing. I meant to say more than willing to go do something like that. But all right, looks like the welterweight picture is already coming together, right? I mean, I'm cool with this one. Let's say, whoever, I'm assuming Devin, who's going to be coming in a heavy favorite, ends up coming away with the victory, and now he's got 2 belts. And then Ryan Garcia maybe gets a belt off of Barrios, and then we have a rematch for the unification and maybe the Ring Lineal Magazine championship down the line between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. But damn, I'm down for this one. I'm not too familiar with Lewis Crocker. I'll look him up and see what he looks like and see what his championship win looked like. But obviously, Devin Haney's going to come in the heavy favorite here. But what do you think about this? It's not a bad fight, huh? I mean, unifying belts already, okay?
It's not a bad fight. It's something that me and you called a few weeks ago when we found Lewis Crocker holding that one IBF title. We were like, oh, well, there's the unification, and now here we are. I swear to God, we called this with them. It's an easy belt. Why not? All right, and hey, we don't know. Maybe the kid brings something to the table. Right now, it's just an easy belt on paper. So you get that belt, you unify, and then yes, the winner of Now, granted, I am not sold on fucking Ryan Garcia anymore. This dude looks like a fucking train wreck. Look, you guys, we told you this dude was going to be nothing but fucking reels now that he has no trainer. His father is not a trainer. His father is his father who's watching him, babysitting, basically. And Ryan's been off the fucking hinges ever since. So, no, dude, I got Barrios all the way. Look for Barrios to take the winner of Haney versus Crocker.
All right. And just to correct myself, Crocker is Irish, Northern Irish. So still part of the UK regardless, but he's Irish.
Yeah. No, we had looked him up. Him up, though. I remember finding him, dude. We were like, oh, that you don't let titles like that by.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and read the caption here. According to reports, negotiations have started between Matchroom and Team Haney for a possible unification showdown in the United Kingdom. Most people from the States won't know Crocker, but if this is held in Ireland, it'll be a massive show. And in my humble opinion, this is, of course, the poster. Even though Crocker is the least known champion at 147, I actually believe he's a tougher matchup for Devin than Raleigh or Barrios. I think it's great for both fighters, and Lewis will get a big fight or big money against Devin, yada yada, some other stuff that he says here. Nothing too much important, but chances are that Devin is going to come into this as a heavy favorite. What do you think about Devin going over to the UK to do it? Now, Devin is obviously the heavy favorite, and it's going to be the A side here. Why give up that? Why go over there? He's done it before, but he did it with Cambosos. Are we talking just strictly money here? Knowing we can fill up that arena over there, fuck it, I'll go over there. I'll whoop his ass. I'll take the belt. I'll be as dominant as possible, so there aren't any issues on the judges' scorecards, and I'll have a packed arena.
All of the above, and for the simple fact that Haney and his father are cut from that old school cloth where they like titles. These guys like collecting titles. That's why Devin has had so many. That's why Devin travels for titles. And it's done good for them. I haven't confirmed it, but what I read on the internet is that Turkey Ali Sheik paid Devin Haney $16 million for the Brian Norman Jr. fight. Terence, titles do work.
And they don't all have to be $50 million fights.
Yeah. No, but I mean, they've collected, they are collecting checks behind it. So, no, this is something that when you're trying to build a legacy, when you're trying to build a resume, yeah, you collect titles wherever they're at. And Lewis Crocker definitely is sitting out there with the belt that can go around Devin Haney and make him look a lot more important.
Yeah. And then, man, that will set up whoever. I mean, we're already kind of leaning towards Barrios, I suppose, right, against fucking Ryan, but that is already setting up. We have ourselves a little mini tournament here, right? Unification over here.
Let's not forget one Manny Pacquiao is somewhere floating around out there. Devin Haney versus Manny would be a great fight for Devin Haney too. So he's got Barrios and Garcia rematch or fight the winner, or who knows? Maybe they pull. You think Manny wants to go on for 2 titles? I'm sure he would take that fight.
Yeah, that's very true. Damn, that would be big. Damn, can you imagine that? Devin and fucking Manny. Shit.
Hey,
that would be,
no.
What?
I was gonna say he's from the Bay Area. Maybe you guys bring it to the Bay. You know my damn obsession with the Bay Area and Manny Pacquiao. Whatever.
Hey, what would it be? The classic Cow Palace? No, that's too run down.
No, you do Giant Stadium.
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
The Bay Area. So a summer night is a great night in the Bay Area, right? You go Giant Stadium with that.
Damn.
You got the water. You got 47,000. You got
and that's because of why? There's a big Filipino community up there.
Yes, that one of the biggest in America is South City, San Francisco.
Damn, no kidding. That'd be fucking crazy. I think I gotta go to that.
Have you ever been to that ballpark?
No, I don't watch baseball. I haven't been to that.
They could do the arena too. Don't get it twisted. We got the arena. Me and you were there, right? Golden State's.
Oh yeah. What was it? Yeah, I forgot what arena it was.
Golden State Arena. Yeah. Oh, you mean what's the name of the place? Fuck.
Yeah.
What's the name of that one? Darn it.
I have to pull up like my history here. I forgot on my fucking phone. But
well, they have that one, or they have the park. Why I like the baseball park is because you get the stars, you get the night, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the park is very in close. It's only 47,000 seats, so every seat looks like a great one. Yeah, so I would love to do the baseball field.
Chase Center.
There you go.
Unless it's changed names, which happens all the fucking time. But if it hasn't,
I remember that one.
Yes, of course, we remember that one. Devin Haney himself against Regis Prograis. Holy shit, that's the first time. So that's why I'm thinking, like, hey, you know what? It'd be tight if they come up there. I'll go up there and pay you a visit. Why not?
I should DM Turkey. That's a fight.
Right. It's like, Turkey, I got a long-term plan for you, a long-term, vision. All right. Think 2026, 2027, whatever. I don't know what fucking you want to do it. Right. Giant Stadium. Okay. Do you know, Manny? They got some people up there. They got some Filipino, quite the
Battle of the Bay. Yeah, the Filipinos and Oakland, South San Francisco versus Oakland, all friendly, but Battle of the Bay.
Alrighty. Okay. Well, that pretty much covers the majority of what we wanted to talk about. The two major stories, of course, being the retirement or supposed alleged retirement of one Terence Crawford, and then, of course, the final press conference with Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. And we are 24 hours away, roughly, from the weigh-in. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Just a quick reminder, guys, because next Wednesday is Christmas Eve, and then the Wednesday that follows is New Year's Eve. We won't be doing Wednesday shows because we're going to be super hella busy, but we still will be doing Sunday shows. So we will see you guys on Sunday for sure, which will be plenty to talk about because it will be a couple of days removed from Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul. So we will definitely talk about that on Sunday. But besides that, Andrew, is there anything else you wanted to add to the show before we call it a day?
Nope. I think we're good, bro. 24 hours away.
The
From
countdown
the
has started.
weigh-ins. From the weigh-ins.
Yeah,
yes,
right,
sir.
from the weigh-ins, and then we'll get a much better idea of how things look at that point. But until then, we will see you guys next Sunday, of course. For my co-host Andrew, don't get it twisted, Lapache, I am Miguel Antonio Barragan, aka Fight Fiend Migs, and this has been the Mad Boxing Show. Thank you so much for watching and joining us. We will see you guys on Sunday. Take care. Peace.